Hey guys, it's me, an INFP. Today I'm going to talk about an INFP's immovable values versus their flexible values. INFPs are a little infamous for having really strong values and morals. This stems from their introverted feeling, which is their primary function. Introverted feeling, or FI, holds importance to moral things and values and is part of what forms an INFP's strong opinions about things. MBTI types with FI tend to be very stubborn about certain things they believe in, more so than FE users. This has lent them kind of a reputation of being really stubborn and really immovable about some things that they're adamant about. INFPs do have immovable values, but some of their values are movable. I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between the two and how you can know which one you're dealing with an INFP. Or if you're an INFP, you can learn more about what values are really important to you and which ones that could change over time. So an example of an immovable value is something that from an INFP's experiences has become part of their core and who they are. It's very unlikely that they're gonna change it. They feel like they can't change it because it's just part of them. It just is. An example I have is that I have very strong feelings towards hunting animals. I'm very much against it, and I consider that an immovable value of mine because I just cannot imagine changing my mind about it. It's very part of who I am. In fact, it's one of the few things that gets me so angry when I think about it too much that I just start to see red, and I just feel rage to the point where it's I just have no words. That kind is so important to me. It's actually one of my deal breakers with a romantic partner. I don't want them to be a hunter, and I feel so strongly about that. I feel like I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than marry someone who hunts animals and enjoys it. I want someone who's not just indifferent to animals, but loves them and respects them, because caring for animals is a value of mine. I don't normally confront people about this value. I normally keep it to myself, even if there are people having conversations about hunting. I mean, it's pretty common nowadays, people still do it for sport, and I have a lot of arguments against it, but I'm typically not the type of person who will just out someone and be I hate hunting, how dare you. I normally just don't say anything at all, but with an INFP who has an immovable value, if they do say something, it's one of those things where it's you're not going to change their mind. So it's really not a good idea to try to convince them otherwise, or try to change their mind or step on that value on purpose. Now of course you can't help stepping on something accidentally. You don't know what their value is but if you do step on an INFP's value, that's an immovable value. It might be stepping on a landmine and you might lose a foot. Now this is being kind of exaggerating. Immovable has the idea with it that it's solid. It's not going anywhere. You're just gonna make an INFP angry if you try to change their value or if you disrespect it. Now for INFPs, I feel learning what your immovable values are can be helpful for knowing what kind of people you want to be around, what kind of things you want to involve yourself with. If you hate hunting, you're probably not going to want to surround yourself with people who hunt for their main recreational activity. Now it's possible to be acquaintances with people who do something that you don't value, but I feel it would be difficult to get into a close relationship with someone who has a value that goes directly against yours or is doing something that is against an immovable value of yours. It's very hard to deal with face to face And to be honest, like, I don't know why you would want to be around something that is totally against what you value. Like, especially for INFPs. There are other types that, like, they can deal with it. It doesn't bother them too much if they have friends who have, like, markedly different values from them. To a point, INFPs can do this too. But when it comes down to close relationships, they need someone who meets them on those immovable values. This isn't exactly a value, but what comes to mind when it comes to, like, stepping on INFP's values and morals is, like, Anna Green Gables, Anne Shirley, and Gilbert Blythe. Like, if you watched, like, the Slate thing, that isn't exactly a value. It's more of, like, getting her feelings hurt because of, like, something she deeply believed about her hair that really hurt her feelings, and it took her, like, years to forgive him, but, like, she just kind of exploded when it happened. And that's, like, an example of FI. When you step on FI and things, like, blow up, it doesn't usually, like, happen that dramatically in real life. I mean, it bears to mind, like, if an INFP has a immovable value, it's really important to them, and it would be helpful for others if they know about it to, like, understand and try to respect it. If you want to get to know this INFP, if you're like, no, I don't care about that value, I don't want to be friends with this INFP, that's fine. But, like, I feel like to a point you're gonna have to at least respect their immovable values if you want to have some sort of, like, close connection to them. When it comes to flexible values are possible to change, and they may be thought of more as, like, opinions than values. They still may be strong opinions, as INFPs are known for, but it's possible to change them. And I've experienced this several times, even with things I felt strongly about. For example, I used to have this opinion that anyone who watched The Office was stupid. The TV show The Office. I had not watched The Office. I didn't get what was so funny that people were always like, that's my favorite TV show, it's hilarious. And I ended up watching the pilot episode, which I wouldn't say is, like, the best episode to get a feeling of the show. To be honest, like, the first episode has a lot of, like, offensive humor, which, for my taste, it wasn't funny to me. And I was like, this is just, like, stupid and offensive humor. Why do people find this funny? So then I formed an even stronger opinion that I'm like, anyone who says they watch The Office has no taste. And that show is stupid and those people are stupid. And I believed that for a while. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna write off people who list The Office as their favorite TV show. Until I started watching more episodes of it. I forget why I started, but I ended up watching, like, the entire series, and I actually ended up really enjoying it, like, at the end. Like, I feel like what got to me was, like, once I, like, understood Michael Scott, I got to that point where, like, I understood his backstory and, like, why he was the way he was. And then after that, I was good. I was like, I'm not saying that, like, I found everything great, but I really enjoyed it, and I was really sad when it ended. So I changed my opinion of the show. I enjoy the show, and I understand why people like it, and I changed my opinion of people who watch it. You're not stupid. So that's an example of a flexible value. INFPs can sometimes make, like, I don't want to say snap judgments, but, like, they form an opinion and then they stick to it until something changes their mind. And that's a flexible value. I feel like it's important to define the two, because the first one is just, like, it's not going to change because it's such a part of who they are that it actually, like, forms who they are. And I feel like it's important to understand that, compared to the second one, which is strong opinions that may be moral or values, but they can change. Sometimes if we get too focused in our FI, we tend to lose, like, the lightheartedness of our NE and be open to new things. We become more, like, closed to considering changing our opinion, which isn't good. Friends with INFPs, if they see a flexible opinion, they can, have a different opinion without it necessarily like affecting their relationship. Like if they like The Office and I don't like it, it's not necessarily gonna like ruin a friendship. It's just like a difference of likes. It's not a difference of values. I feel like this might help some people like understand INFPs a little bit more in that area, and INFPs, I find it's helpful to pick out, to realize what your immovable values are, like how that's gonna affect your life, and then to remember to be open to your flexible opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe-ify. If you like my channel, if you like my content, if you like anything. I will see you in March. Take care of yourself.